No, I wouldn't rather be further back, but it's difficult. Thrilled with the horse, couldn't have asked more of him. Thrilled with the job that everybody in my group did, and to get here, it wasn't just 1 week. It's been years with this horse, and I think what we did was pretty remarkable. It's a whisker.
There were probably some people that questioned the choice of Rothschild early on. Do you feel like you proved them wrong?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. He's never been the most orthodox type, but I think for the last 2 years he's been pretty
consistent,
pretty solid. I don't see one in our country that's been better. I think there were some people questioning if he got in the Final Four today. They were getting nervous about it. He's quirky, he's actually not that hard to ride, but he's quirky, and you have to know him a little bit, and for sure I think it was a good chance if we had made it, but we didn't. So, and there are 4 very good riders in the Final Four, professionals who have done it well for a long time and have very good horses, and who I have a lot of respect for, so you can't question them either.
Did you think about flying home for hits?
If I hadn't made today's round, if I hadn't qualified for today's round, I was going to go at a horse there at the show. But once I had qualified after the second round of the Nations Cup, I didn't decide not to.
What are you going to do for BZ? Are you going to help her in any way tomorrow?
Whatever she wants.
What would that be? Just out of
Normally we walk the course together and go over it. We'll probably talk about the horses a little bit, just that she's going to ride. They're all pretty orthodox horses, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of excitement or unexpected situations.
What are your thoughts on the format of the Final Four and making these horses jump 9 rounds in a week?
It's a lot of jumping for sure. These horses are really fit. I think they actually can handle the amount of jumping. It's a question whether it's a relevant competition anymore. It's changed from what it was when this all started, years ago, where different parts of the world rode and trained very differently. Now everybody trains about the same, and I think you're going to see tomorrow again 4 very orthodox horses that all kind of go the same way. I think my horse would have thrown a little bit of a loop into it, but wasn't meant to be.
And the thought of, if Rothschild had made it, would there have been concerns about somebody maybe giving him a bad ride?
No, I don't think they would have given him a bad ride. I mean, they're all great riders. But I think he would have been a little quirky. He's more quirky in his warm up, and just keeping him quiet.
It looked like you really fought for that second clear. Could you feel what happened over that Oxer?
Yeah, I mean, we had the front rail that Oxer down the other day, and it's been a bogey, so I knew he needed a clear round, and I stood him off it a little bit, and he's a little horse, and back rail got a little far away, but he tried hard, and he gave a little extra, and I couldn't ask him to go better.
Next time.
And
getting old.
The whole experience. I know you guys visited the beaches.
Yeah, I mean that actually obviously puts into perspective not making the Final Four, right? I mean, it was. I thought it was a great event. I thought the stadium had great atmosphere. The footing and the jumps, the schooling, stabling was all first class. And we had a really great team, from the managers of the team on through to the people, obviously behind the scenes, the grooms, and the 5 riders really. It was a really nice professional group, and I think that makes a big difference.
Any differences between this WEG with Robert versus the WEGs that you've done with George?
I mean, they have a slightly different management style, but it's still of the same kind of classic, beliefs. And it comes down to good horsemanship, having fresh horses, and having the right 4 riders and try to peak the horse at the right time. I think the theory is the same. They're different personalities for sure, but they're both of them I consider great friends.
And with Robert's course design background, does that help a little when you are walking the course with him?
I think his analysis of the course is very good, but I think that's more because he was a rider than a course designer. At this point, at this stage, you have a pretty good idea of what your horse's strengths and weaknesses are, and at the same time, it develops. They jump so many big jumps over a few days. The horses that are still in it in the end are bigger and stronger, and they cover the ground. It's even people ask me, was the last round big? I said it's hard to say because you digest it in the game. When you look back in a week, you think, wow. I mean, the 4th jump was a 1.60 m square oxer. they don't jump that very often, but they all jumped, they just jump. So that's when you get down to these 10 people, I mean, it's just being done very well.
And the fact that you came with Rothschild, does it change a little bit the way you look at the horses that you have now?
Well, I think Rothschild for years has taught me a lot of lessons. He's taught me about, meeting a horse in the middle. He's taught me about, believing in a horse. He has great quality and seeing the best, and then it comes up. I really like this horse. I mean, aside from the ring, and aside from the performance, I like him. I like he's the kind of, if he were a person, I'd go have a beer with him. I enjoy him. He's a cool character, and he's straight. It is how it is, and I appreciate that. So, and it's a little bittersweet. This was the last horse that I'll probably ride at championships that my dad trained. So I was hoping the story ended a little different today, but okay, still to be proud of. So.
You always rest his ear when you finish.
Yeah, he's got a spot right here. I'll let you pet him. Everywhere else you can't touch him. So you take your head off. So he's actually a very sensitive horse, and like I said, I aside from performance, I like the horse. I like his character.